Joe Leach's second 5-wicket haul of an excellent summer for him was backed up brilliantly by Daryl Mitchell as Worcestershire took complete control of their LV County Championship match with Hampshire at the Ageas Bowl. Resuming their innings on 119 for 4, Hampshire lost James Vince to Leach in the second morning 6th over for 8, leaving it to Will Smith to try to settle the innings down. At one point on day 1, the home side were on 112 for 1, but they now found themselves on 170 for 6 when Adam Wheater was taken down the leg side by Ben Cox off Charlie Morris. This was a morning dominated by Worcestershire. Smith was a little fortunate to get away with this thick edge, while Sean Irvine just started to show some promise before the last 4 wickets fell for 21 runs. Smith had made 40 when he was bowled by Colin Munro, the Kiwi striking in his first over in Championship cricket, the batsman playing on. Next over, and Irvine was also on his way for 17, debutant Ed Barnard with his second wicket as the Zimbabwean batsman gave Cox the third of his 4 catches in the Hampshire innings. Leach then grabbed his 22nd wicket of a very promising campaign when he had Danny Briggs held by Alex Gidman. And it was a second fifer of the season for the 24-year-old when last man Bradley Wheel edged behind before he troubled the scorers. Leach had figures of 5 for 63 as Hampshire were all out for a below par 222. Batting looked a lot easier when Worcestershire had their turn. Mitchell and Richard Oliver getting their side off to a good start in reply with an opening partnership of 62 which soon had their team on top. The home attack was never at its best, and that allowed Oliver to do what he likes to do, and that's hit boundaries through the offside with power. He found the fence 5 times in his score of 33, but he then edged Gareth Berg to Smith in the 18th over of the reply. So far this season, Worcestershire are the team out of these 2 promoted ones who look in a better place to survive the trials and tribulations of First Division cricket. They've already defeated Somerset and should have done the same to Durham, while Hampshire, although playing some good cricket, have yet to taste any success. Tom Fell was soon making this tough for the home side to open up their 4-day account here. He and the linchpin of the Worcestershire batting order, Mitchell, saw out the middle session in which only 1 wicket was lost, with the total reaching 142 for 1, both batsmen into the 40s. Mitchell reached his 50 on the resumption, an innings thus far lasting 133 balls, from which he'd found the boundary only 4 times. It wasn't exciting by any means, but it was just the knock his side required from their skipper, who was backing up the work of his bowlers. Fell wasn't able to raise his bat though. On 48, after adding 94 runs for the second wicket, he edged Berg to Liam Dawson, but by now Worcestershire were only 66 runs adrift of their hosts. Hampshire needed a cluster of wickets to stay in touch, but Gidman then joined Mitchell, and this pair were able to close in on the home side's total with a partnership of 58 made in 18 overs. Mitchell was reaping the rewards for his hard work of earlier, as was his team, who were just 8 runs behind when they lost their 3rd wicket. That was the one of Gidman, who shortly before bad light took the players off, edged an outswinger from Wheel to Vince, one of the better deliveries produced by Hampshire in their 60 overs with the ball. Just 5 minutes later, the players were off and they didn't return, meaning that Worcestershire will go into the 3rd day trailing by only 1 run with 7 wickets intact. Mitchell still there on 80 after 4 hours at the crease.